Hello and welcome to a new devlog video for Peasant Uprise. Looking back at tools in Peasant Uprise, the concept of tools or weapons is normally used in the same context because peasants will use tools to fight. So I introduced tools early on to work on the combat system, but the goal was just to have something I could attach some properties to and work on activating or deactivating these tools on the peasant's hands. I also work on tools while I was deep into the camp module, where some jobs require particular tools. However, I never did tackle tools as a comprehensive feature. Tools did not get stored anywhere, and they just appeared and disappeared at will. One of the ideas I had in paper is that not only tools can be built using a forge and an anvil, but they also have durability properties, and they deteriorate with each battle or use, in which case you'll need an anvil to repair it. These particularities of tools made them not really a good fit to be used as normal resources like iron or food, so it needed its own model, data storage and manager. And as you've been watching in the background, I also needed a place where the player could see and manage the tools of this rebellion. I decided to add this in the camp menu as it does fit as a different type of inventory to keep track of and manage. What's important for me is the thought process and understanding everything in the game that gets affected by a feature like this. It's not as easy as it seems because from a player standpoint, there has to be an easy way to assign tools and access the menus to manage them. But like I've mentioned in the past, I also have to avoid making this a burden when the player has, say, 25 peasants. Finally, I also need to think about how the player is going to access tools if they don't yet have a forge or an anvil. So all in all, I need a data model for it, storage capabilities, and a tools manager. I also need a menu where the player can see their inventory of tools and a way to assign it individually to each peasant, and an auto mode that will automatically make peasants grab tools based on their preference. I also need an easy way to access tools in the user interface or HUD. I need to tie this system with the existing logic so the migration is seamless. And finally, I need a market that specializes in selling tools since they are not your normal resources. Oh, and one more thing that I have not yet implemented, but since the anvil will now have two purposes to either build or repair, I will need a way for the player to assign the type of work that will be done in the anvil. So yeah, a simple thought can lead to a lot of changes. Throughout these projects, I can see how fluent I've become working with Unity. Menus like these used to take me forever to align correctly and create the UI design. But now it's just faster, because the art direction and assets when it comes to menus is already set. So it's just pulling in the right combination of items into the scene. So in the user interface, I mocked up a little shovel and I want to display two different values. One would be the number of tools that are available on the left, and on the right I'll have the total number of tools that you own in your inventory. I noticed in the last few devlogs I've been going a bit more in depth into some topics, and the videos are getting just a bit more technical and a bit longer in length. Please let me know if this is something you're interested in, so I can take it into account when deciding what to share and the overall format of this devlog. Thanks. Following along the same guidelines that I covered in my previous devlog, both the menu controller and the user interface controller only handles the request, but really all the logic gets relayed back to the managers, in this case the tools manager. One of the challenges I face is that the user interface is not linked directly to the camp menu. Hence, a change in the camp menu, like giving a tool to a peasant, could not be able to update the HUD. While I could create a HUD reference and link the menu and the UI, I'd rather not. In these cases, creating a delegate and broadcast that tools have changed makes more sense to me. The UI can subscribe to this event via the static tools manager without having to create a reference to a game object in the scene. With this delegate in place, the UI will receive the notification and can grab the new data to update the little icon with the amounts on the bottom. Normally, implementing a change of this magnitude in the middle of the project could be very problematic, considering that both combat and camp work depend on tools already. However, it hasn't really created much issues because at the end, those two big functionalities look for a peasant's tool in the same method called getTool. So I just changed the implementation of that method, and neither the combat or the camp work has seen any impact from this change. This is a good sign for me, as it makes me feel like the source code is pretty solid and decoupled. As I mentioned before, I need a way to make this easy for the player. Having two buttons that allow the player to either grab all the tools and assign them to the peasants and return all the tools, I think would be really helpful to make this process painless as possible. However, especially for the take all, this is something that will require some intelligence behind it. Peasants do have a preference on tools depending on their jobs, so I want to take that into account. And I also want the peasants with the highest level to pick up a tool first. As if that wasn't enough, now that I have the tool systems that I wanted and a way to build and manage and assign tools, there is another piece required, and that's to be able to buy and sell these gorgeous tools. So I spent an extra day to create a little stand that sells tools and the market menu to buy and sell operations. I'll leave you with a screenshot of the final result. With that said, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next update.